everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Okay, this is going to be cool. This is definitely going to be cool. This is not something you see every day. This is not a record player. This is a symphonium. It is essentially a music box. Now, before the advent of recorded sound in the late 1800s, people either had to have performers come to their house to play music, which only the wealthy could do, or they had to learn to play musical instruments themselves, or they could use a music box. So up until they could buy records on wax cylinders, this is what they had to deal with. So a symphonium comes in many different sizes and shapes. This is a reproduction from about 2003. It was sold under the Mr. Christmas brand as well as Crosley. Shocker of all shockers. But you have to hand it, though, to Crosley for stepping into all types of vintage music media. This particular example is gorgeous, very well maintained. It's sort of an antique in and of itself. I mean, it's about almost 20 years old, even though it's a reproduction. But these, date back to the 1700s in a cylindrical form, kind of like records. They kind of follow the same suit, where you would have a cylinder with music on it, and that cylinder would only play that one song. And then they figured out, we put them on discs, people can play different songs easily, and they can be reproduced cheaply. So that's what this represents, is a symphonium music box from about the late 1890s. And it works perfectly, and it's awesome, and I'm so excited for it. But let's talk about the discs themselves to begin with. So they come in a pouch like this. It's a velour pouch. By the way, if you want one of these reproduction units, they can be had. The discs look like this. The originals were like huge. They were like 15 to 18 inch discs, I believe, made of like copper, different metals. These are, again, reproductions, so they're just plastic, but they look legit and they do the job, and they're not going to wear out, and they're not going to rust, and they're not going to have any issues like that. I have 10 discs in my set, which is what this came with. So we got all kinds of cool songs. There are different versions of this, some that have, Christmas music and others that don't. I actually thought that this one was going to be the Christmas one. You guys know what I feel about Christmas. I love Christmas, but it's not. So that's okay. You can buy more discs and definitely do that in the future. So it's literally just a sheet of plastic, and on the outer edge there's this toothed, track, and then the music is, punched out in these holes, which will line up with this thing. It's called a comb. And you've seen, it's a common type of music box mechanism. Let's get a little closer to the comb so you can see what I'm talking about. So those holes line up with this toothed gear, which then will play the music. There's an electric motor on this one, and it's underneath this little shield right there. It's very similar to like a record player motor. It's just you can see the bottom of it there. The originals used a wind-up mechanism like a phonograph, but yeah. So let's go ahead and play it for you so you can see how it works. To put a disc on, you just simply find the start position. Now, it's kind of weird is the start, you have to rotate it like this, which is upside down. I don't know why they did that, but kind of tilt it down like this, and then you push it through that little spindle there. There are a couple of guideposts here. Let me pull this off so you can see them. There are a couple of guideposts right here that just keep the angle correct. This is all attached to the same piece right here. And we just insert it like that. Get about 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds of music. Then this arm closes down and snaps. And once it's locked in place, you have to squeeze this to release it. So it snaps into place. You can either close the lid or not. I personally like it open. It sounds the best that way. So let me go ahead and just start by playing some music. Hopefully we won't have any copyright content ID matches, but here you go. Here's a little bit. And by the way, my bird is being extra naughty today. So if you hear the cheeping in the background, my apologies. That's just him. It's a bright, beautiful sunny day here in Colorado, and he is enjoying the weather and making a lot of sound. So anyway, here is Swanee River on the reproduction symphonium. So it does have a 6-volt power supply wall wart that connects to this little box. So this is not vintage looking. Just keep it off to the side. But when you're done, you just squeeze here, lift off, and then you sort of gently remove the disc, and you're good to go. And these will play indefinitely. I mean, let's play and play and play. So looking again through the stack here, Blue Danube Waltz, a classic, literally. I'll go ahead and place that on there on the sprockets, and clamp this down, and we can go to town. Now, what I love about music boxes, in addition to the sound, I genuinely love the sound of a music box, especially a Christmas music box. But what I love is that they incorporate not only something to listen to, but something to watch. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. You've seen it on the thumbnail, you've seen it a little bit from the wide angle shot, but I want to show you up close. Here's the entertainer, by the way. Some of these versions of these recordings, I guess you would call them, songs. I don't should call it a recording, but these discs, the arrangements are a little different. Like this one I'm going to play for you, the entertainers, sound a little different than what you've heard previously. So let me start this up, but I also want to show you what is happening underneath this unit, because if I pull back, you will see there's a scene down there. So let's take a look at that up close. Okay guys, and there it is, the vintage retro Symphonium from Mr. Christmas circa 2003, but really circa 1880s, 1890s. This one, beautiful wood finish, the touches, the fine tuning, the design, the sound. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. Let me know down in the comments below if any of you have kind of branched into this world of Symphoniums, and if so, let me know down in the comments below what you think. But that's going to do it for now, guys. Happy record hunting. We will see you tomorrow.